Thanks, and now we have Elon Musk, Chief Engineer at SpaceX.
Thank you. I think actually Steve said really all the really important things. I'm just really proud of the SpaceX team and honored to be partnered with NASA and helping with Jackson and ESA as well. Just thrilled to be part of advancing human spaceflight, and looking forward to going beyond Earth orbit to the Moon and Mars, and helping make humanity a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species one day. Thank you.
Thank you. As a reminder for reporters on the line, press *1 to get into the queue and ask a question. First up, we have Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press.
A gorgeous launch. For Elon, could you describe your emotions at liftoff, and does it get any easier for you on a personal level being responsible for lives after 3 crew flights? Thank you.
Yeah, it's very, very intense. I suppose it does get a little bit easier, but it's still extremely intense. And I usually can't sleep the night before a launch, and that's true of the night before this one. So I haven't had much sleep. But fortunately, we've got a great team that are really proud of the incredible work the team has done in partnership with NASA. And yeah, I suppose it gets a little bit easier, but still pretty intense, I have to say. Yeah. It's hard to believe that we're here doing this, quite frankly. Feels like a dream.
Thank you. And now we have Bill Harwood with CBS.
Thanks. And again, congratulations to all of you for this launch. 3 Crew Dragon flights in less than a year is quite a record. And I guess for Mr. Musk, I realize this current flight is less than 2 hours old right now, but can you tell us anything about the schedule for the next flight, the Inspiration 4 launch schedule? And one question I think a lot of us have is how do you do that flight without working with NASA? I mean, in terms of crew quarters and suit up and facilities in general. Thanks.
Well, I think we'll still be obviously coordinating with NASA, and that'll be sort of a free flyer mission with a kind of a big kind of glass dome in the front instead of a docking adapter. So it should give quite a different feel for, like, you should really feel like you're in space more than one, because it'll just be you just surrounded by glass or acrylic technically, but. We're looking forward to that mission. But obviously still be working in coordination with NASA for that mission. So that should be, hopefully, like as the name suggests, inspiration. And actually, I think that's the thing about human spaceflight is that it's one of those things that makes people excited about the future. You look forward to wake up in the morning and think, hey, what's going to be great about the future? It's like, man, if we're out there and we're a spacefaring civilization and visiting other planets and there's exciting plans, I think that's what gets one of those things that gets people fired up, Yeah, certainly gets me fired up, obviously.
Thank you. Now we have Eric Berger with Ars Technica.
Hi, good morning, and congratulations to everyone on this. A couple of questions. First of all, maybe for Steve Stitch, can you comment on the fact that, in less than 4 years, I guess, or it's been about 4 years since SpaceX first launched a Falcon 9 rocket for the second time, the SES-10 mission. Has it been a rapid process to try to get to the certification of the Falcon 9, previously flown rockets for Crew? And Elon, can you comment on the Human Landing System award last Friday? How important is it to SpaceX that NASA showed that kind of confidence in Starship and is now talking about using the vehicle for the Moon and potentially Mars? Thank you.
Yeah. I'll take the first question regarding the certification of the Falcon 9. For the first flight for Demo 2 for Bob and Doug, we had gone through a certification of the rocket for one flight, so we had started to understand the systems. We actually follow the whole fleet of all the flights that SpaceX flies, SpaceX has been a great partner in sharing data in every single flight, and we were able to look at the performance. So over time, we started to understand how the engines perform, how the rocket itself performs. And then in a partnership with SpaceX, we went through and looked at every single piece of the launch vehicle, the engines, the structures, everything about the reentry and the heating, and we were able to, in about 10 months, go through on the order of 400 or so certification products. In addition to those products delivered by SpaceX, we also did our independent analysis of certain key components from a structural perspective. We looked at the heating for entry and did an independent assessment of that to make sure that we were comfortable with the margins. And so it was quite an extensive effort in 10 months by our team, and an incredible partnership between NASA and SpaceX.
And Elon?
Yeah, it's a great honor to be chosen by NASA to return people to the moon. It's been now almost half a century since humans were last on the moon. It's too long. We need to get back there and have a permanent base on the moon. I think like a big permanently occupied base on the moon, and then build a city on Mars and become a spacefaring, like a spacefaring civilization, a multi-planet species. We don't want to be one of those single-planet species. We want to be a multi-planet species. So, yeah.
Thank you. Now we have Irene Klotz with Aviation Week.
Thanks, Jackie, and congratulations. That was a really exotic launch this morning. For Elon, how will the funding from HLS impact your design and development and schedule for Starship, and what's been kind of your technological challenges with the project so far?
Well, I mean, this has definitely been really helpful funding the Starship program. It's mostly been funded internally thus far, and it's pretty expensive. As you can tell if you've been watching the videos, we've blown up a few of them. So excitement guaranteed, one way or another. So it's a tough vehicle to build because we're trying to crack this nut of a rapid and fully and rapidly reusable rocket. And I apologize, I'm a little slow enough to take care as I'm going on not much sleep at all. But the thing that's really important to revolutionize space is a rapidly reusable rocket. That's reliable too. So that's really what needs to happen. If that can be done, then the cost of access to orbit and beyond can be reduced by potentially a factor of 100 or more. So that's really what is most important about. It's got to be done by somebody's got to do this. And if you have rapid and complete reusability, then that opens up. That is the gateway to the heavens. That's what matters. That's what we're trying to get done, and the support of NASA makes a huge difference.
Thank you. To media on the line, just a reminder to focus your questions this morning on the Crew-2 mission. That would be greatly appreciated. Next up, we have Joey Roulette with The Verge.
Hey, thanks, Jackie, and congrats everyone on a good launch. This question's for Elon Musk. From your perspective, I was just wondering if you are plugged in or if you have any idea what the holdup on getting an agreement with the Russians for flying cosmonauts on Crew Dragon is. Would you like to see cosmonauts flying on Crew Dragon sooner than later? And since HLS was mentioned earlier, I was just wondering how soon will Starship be able to put humans on the moon? Thanks.
I do not have any insight on with regard to the cosmonauts, but of course we would be honored to fly cosmonauts on Dragon. But I do not have any insight into any potential objections. I'm not. Perhaps this may be just a communications breakdown. I don't know, but I don't have any insight into it.
Yeah, I'll help out with that. I mean, we're actually working through the agreements right now, And I think people understand, and I think we talked about this in the post-FR news conference, that people understand the importance of, crew swaps for supportability of ISS, and so we're working through that and getting that agreement in place. It takes a while sometimes. I found out there's lots of people to coordinate with, so it doesn't happen as fast probably as I want it to, but we're working through it.
Thank you. And now we have Stephen Clark with Spaceflight Now.
Thank you, and congratulations to everyone. My question is for Elon Musk as well. This was the first time you've launched astronauts on a reused Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon, although it's far from the first time you've done that for, overall through your flight history. I'm curious, as you develop Starship to focus on that rapid and full reusability as you're flying your manifest with Falcon 9, how many missions do you think you can get out of a Falcon 9 booster? And is that something you're willing to push the limit on to, keep flying one until it breaks, or for a Starlink mission, for example, or do you see like a plateau or a ceiling in terms of flight number for a Falcon 9 booster going forward?
Well, there doesn't seem to be any obvious limit to the reusability of the vehicle, and yeah, we do intend to fly the Falcon 9 booster until we see some kind of a failure with the Starlink missions. Obviously, just to have that be a life leader. And we're just actually talking in the control room. So we're talking with the between SpaceX and NASA, and we're like wondering, what's the optimal number of launches for? Do you want to be on a brand new booster, or well, you probably don't want to be on the life leader for a crew mission. But it's probably good to have a flight or two under its belt for the booster to have flown, once or twice. I think if it was like an aircraft coming out of an aircraft factory, you'd want the aircraft to probably have gone on a test flight or two before, you put passengers on. So, I think that's probably, a couple of flights is a good number to have for a crew booster. And in the meantime, we'll keep flying the life leader. We've got 9 flights on one of the boosters. We're going to have a 10th flight soon with a Starlink mission. And we're learning a lot about reusability, and it's a hard problem for rockets. I mean, there's a reason it's really, right now, Falcon 9 is the only partially reusable rocket being flown, with the booster coming back and the fairing coming back, but we don't reuse the upper stage or the Dragon trunk. And so with the Starship, we're aiming at just like hopefully reuse the whole thing. But this is a hard problem for rockets, that's for sure. And it's taken us, we're like 19 years in now. But I think we can see the Starship design can work. It's a hard thing to solve, and the support of NASA is very much appreciated in this regard. I don't know. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work.
Thank you. And next up, we have David Curley with the Discovery Channel.
Hi there. Sorry, unmuting. For anybody, NASA or SpaceX, was Bob Behnken allowed to leave anything for Megan in the Dragon? And Elon, it's been a long journey with the HLS and everything else. On the arc of what you're hoping to do, are you going faster or slower? I know you had some frustrations early, but where do you see bigger picture we are and where we need to go? Thank you.
I guess I'll take the question of Bob. I don't know of anything specific that he left for Megan. He certainly left a lot of love, tenderness, and care of that vehicle while he flew it. And for me as the program manager for Commercial Crew, it's pretty exciting to see, Bob having flown that vehicle for the first time, testing it out, and taking it for a spin for his wife Megan, and she gets to take it for a little longer. So it's kind of cool to see the two flying the same vehicle. And the first time that we've reused that vehicle. So.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if people saw the zero-G indicator this time, which is this cute, fluffy penguin called My First Penguin. It's this cute, fluffy penguin that's floating around in zero-G right now. I don't know if there's a picture of that, but it's kind of cute. And then, let's see, I mean, it's been 19 years since starting SpaceX, and certainly a lot of adventures along the way. Some tough times and a lot of good times. I'd say it's only recently, though, that I think that I feel that full and rapid reusability can be accomplished. And I wasn't sure for a long time, but I am sure now.
Thank you. And next up, we have Jeff Faust with Space News.
Good morning. Question for Elon Musk. It took years of development to get the Crew Dragon to the point where you could have a successful series of missions like Crew-2 this morning. At what point do you think Starship will be ready to start carrying people? Thanks.
Well, I think we are trying to keep these questions to, more limited to this, this mission. But it's difficult to speculate with respect to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I tend to be as you know, I tend to be somewhat optimistic with respect to schedules. I feel I should acknowledge this. So take that with a grain of salt. But I think it's not out of the question that it could be ready for fly people in a couple of years. Obviously, we need to not be making craters, Yeah, otherwise it's hop in. We're going to Mars. No, not quite, not yet. It's got some work to do, but making rapid progress. I think we got to make sure we're accelerating the rate of innovation, and then it could be ready in a couple of years.
Thank you. Now we have Eric Niler with Wired.
Greetings. Congratulations to everybody. Senator Bill Nelson mentioned a 2024 timetable for a lunar landing through HLS during a confirmation hearing on Capitol Hill, and I'm just wondering from Elon whether that's kind of a crazy talk, or is that something you feel optimistic about?
I think that can be done. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we're going to build a lot of rockets, and we're going to probably smash a bunch of them. But I think it will happen. I think 2024. This seems likely. We're going to aim for sooner than that, but I think I think this is actually doable. Yes.
Thanks. And we have time for one more question. Camden Hall from Talk of Titusville.
Thanks for taking my question. My question is for Elon. Where were you watching the launch from? Were you in the LCC like you were for Demo 2 or somewhere else? Thanks.
Yeah, I was in launch control, and yeah. It's funny. It's the same place, the same launch control at where the lunar missions were launched from. It's pretty wild. It's the same windows, same glass. So it's a little hard to see out at night. During the day, it's a lot easier to see out. The view from the roof is actually better than the view from launch control. But you get to see all the data there. So, yeah. I don't know. The future's looking good. I think we're at the dawn of a new era of space exploration.
Thank you again to all of our speakers and to our reporters. That's going to wrap things up for us here. Our Crew-2 mission coverage continues on NASA TV. We'll have live coverage all the way to the International Space Station, including Crew Dragon docking, hatch opening, and the welcome ceremony. Docking is targeting at 5:10 a.m. Saturday, April 24th, with hatch opening at 7:15 a.m. and the welcome ceremony at 7:45 a.m. So stay tuned. Thank you.